I became a firefighter over 14 years ago. My father looked me in the eye one day and he says, get a good job and farm for fun. And I went to university. I got a diploma in agriculture to sort of get me started, but I also went to a community college and got a certificate in firefighting. Firefighting is very different than farming. It's a nice break from the farm. I am able to walk in the door and turn off the farm section of my brain for a part of the day and go into firefighter mode. Sometimes the two intertwine a little bit, but it is actually a very unusual complement to each other. Although there are days when I'm stuck in the fire hall and I would rather be on the combine or the tractor, but I've made a commitment that for now I'll be a part-time farmer and a full-time fireman, and maybe in a few years if things work out a little bit better, we'll switch those two around. My passion for farming, I'm thinking, is partly genetic and partly built in by experience. I think the experiences I had growing up on the farm, following around my dad, getting the opportunity to work on the farm. You know, by the time I was 9 years old, there wasn't a machine on the place that I couldn't run on my own independently. You know, run the combine, run the tractor. It was apprenticeship from a very young age. It's just what I love to do. It's what I want to keep doing, and I want to provide that opportunity for my family. So that's a large part of why we do what we do. My decision to go organic is with the intention that not only my kids, but even their kids, or even if it's not within our family, the generations to come will have healthy land to deal with. What I see happening around me, I'm skeptical that that land will be as productive 30 years from now if they continue on with how they're farming. You don't farm with a one-year rotation in mind. You know, you start to plan your rotations. Well, I start to get to know this field. This field is a little bit lower, it's more prone to wetness. And that long-term plan is always in our minds on how we plan our rotations, how we choose our crops. And this year, more than any, I have seen the soil respond. I decided to grow sunflowers a few years back, looking for more crop diversity. The type of sunflowers that we grow are for oil. What we're after is to see these big seeds. See here, if you take one and pop it open, there's a meat in there, and then that's where we're going to get our oil from. These are considered black oil sunflowers. These are grown predominantly for their oil and have been for many, many years. And actually, this type of sunflower goes right back to Egypt. This is just sort of an offshoot or an upbreeding of those old perennial sunflowers. I would like to see a greater degree of connectivity between the farmer and the consumer. I think today's conventional farmer, to a large part, has forgotten that they're producing food. And the big difference for me, now that I have kids of my own, is everything I produce on this farm, I would want to be able to give it to my children without hesitation. I think in today's world, with the technology that we have, where so many of us are carrying a phone that we can call up a video and see that, now we can put it to good use. They can whip out a device and they can see me and my family on my farm and what we're doing and how it's ending up in their grocery store shelves, in their fridge, on their plate. People want to know where their food comes from, and I think that technology is finally here for us to do that we know what's happening in our food supply.